Hi, I am Grace Howe, and I'm excited that you've tuned into this conversation. I had the privilege and joy of being asked to speak for the Professional Women's Network here in Hawaii last week, and the topic that I was teaching on was self-coaching. And there was a small segment that we weren't able to cover because of questions and interaction and activities and all of the wonderful things that happen when you're in a live experience. And so I want to be able to share these insights with all of them and with you. The aspect that I didn't have an opportunity to cover was on the whole role of the inner critic and how the inner critic can rob us of our joy, our enthusiasm, what the inner critic sounds like and says, how it can hold our dreams and the vision that we have for our lives hostage. And so I want to be able to talk to you about self-coaching and then how to turn down the volume of your inner critic and turn up the volume of your inner champion. So self-coaching, and the topic that we were talking about, is about being an ally to yourself, championing your vision, speaking to yourself and asking yourself quality questions that support, guide, inspire, and move you in the direction that you prefer for your life. And so great self-coaches often have this really rapid bounce forward ability. They tend to be able to redirect or find ways to resolve or look at things and say, you know what, there is a solution. This is a temporary circumstance. This is a season of challenge, and I am moving towards a season of victory. So self-coaching, always the more beautiful answer for the more beautiful question. So questions that don't serve us and that could be inner critic talk, and kind of I want you to be able to hear this so you can recognize it and catch it. Inner critic talk is, you're not good enough. What makes you believe you could ever do something like that? Or they're so much better than you. So there's this comparison. You've tried and failed. You're not smart enough. You're not wealthy enough. You're not educated enough. I mean, you name it. It is doing everything it can to take you down a notch, or what I call dull or burden you, dim your light. So one way to quiet and again turn the volume down of your inner critic, and if you do this with me, you'll remember it more easily, versus so turning down the volume of your inner critic and turning up the volume of your inner champion. Your inner champion is going to ask you questions like, how is that possible? What does progress look like? What are you looking forward to? Whose life have you already made a difference in today? Who loves you and who do you love? Who could I serve today? Who could I add value today? What would be a stretch for me and going beyond my comfort zone? How can I expand my comfort zone versus stay in it? Those are questions that elevate your thinking, that serve you, that support you to become, as Roy Disney said, become a possibilitarian. I love that quote. What I appreciate most about self-coaching is this African proverb, and it states it so well. When there's no enemy within, the enemies outside cannot harm you. When there's no enemy within, the enemies outside cannot harm you. So when you self-coach, you are being a great ally to self. And when you practice asking these quality questions to create the quality of life you're looking for, I mean, the possibilities are abundant. What you'll also find is that when you ask yourself these questions and you ask them in a manner that elevates your thinking, sparks your imagination, that supports you to clarify what is possible for your life, you tend to focus on that and get more of it. So another benefit to practicing these questions is that it awakens something within you. What you'll also find is that it also makes an impact on others. So if you're practiced asking yourself great questions, if you've been kind to yourself with these questions, when you go out to meet and connect with people, you'll be doing less talking, telling, selling, and convincing, and more asking, listening, engaging, being interested, learning new things. We don't learn when we're talking, we learn when we're listening. It's a great gift that you can give. So practice these questions on yourself and watch how you transform, how you grow, the differences you see in yourself and the differences others see in you. And then also observe the richness of the conversations that you're having with others and what you're learning and discovering about them. When we're asking, we're learning what's important to this person, how we could add value, what they're looking for, who you could introduce them to. See, if it's all about yourself, people are interested to a certain extent. When you make conversations about another person, about the person you're interacting with, it really forms bonds, relationships, connection, and mutual flourishing relationships. So again, turning up the volume of your inner champion and watch how people respond to you when you take this approach, and even watch how you see life unfolding for yourself. One question that came to my mind before I started this video and this conversation that was great self-coaching question, without judgment. Am I going to fight for my excuses, or am I going to fight for my vision? What am I willing to fight more for? My excuses or my purpose, my reason, my goal, the vision that I have for the people that I love the most, the vision that I have for my life. So what are you willing to fight for? And how often are you willing to practice this skill? Because practice makes permanent. What you're doing when you're asking yourself and others these questions, one of my favorite, again, I've got several favorite quotes. I'm a quote champion. I love quotes. Anyways, it's by Carl Gustav, and he said, "Those who look outside dream, those who look within awaken. Those who look outside, they dream. Those who look within awaken." And so when you ask yourself questions, you're giving the opportunity for your inner champion to awaken, the best expression of yourself, bringing the best expression of yourself to life. And you're doing the same as you're practicing the art of asking questions of others. So thank you so much for this opportunity to speak into your life. I would appreciate if you've accessed this on one of our channels, that you will subscribe. So subscribe now so that you can continue to receive great content and insights going forward. Also, I want to encourage you to share the good news. So let other people know about what's available to them. I'm going to be conducting interviews with top leaders from a variety of for-profit, not-for-profit, large organizations, global businesses, and I want to be able to share those insights with you. So subscribing is a big part of that. The other thing is I want you to connect on all the other social platforms. So we've got I Coach with Grace on all social platforms, and so that's how we can connect in other ways. And I look forward to staying in touch. If you let me know, put some comments below on how this was for you, and I look forward to connecting again soon. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.